What is up, sister friends? I hope everybody's having an amazing day. Welcome to another episode of Heart to Heart with myself, your host, Coach Emily. I hope everybody enjoyed last week's episode of the Energetic Ladies group call, just to kind of get a gist of what that's like. Those ladies are the freaking best. And we had a really great time talking all about human design, which is my favorite thing to talk about ever. But I wanted to take the time in the beginning of this episode to remind you guys that my Conquer Your Chaos Masterclass, free masterclass, is this Friday. The link to register is in the description of this podcast. If you can't make the time, you can totally just still register anyway, and I will send you the recording. It's at 12 p.m. EST on Friday, May 3rd. So this Friday coming up. And we're going to be going over energetic tasks, how to create a schedule, to-do list, how to help you feel less overwhelmed, feel more productive, and honestly, just make more time for yourself, right? And that's what today's episode is going to be about, making time for yourself. But in the masterclass, to everybody who attends live, I will be giving away 2 bonuses. I'll be giving away my energetic scheduling template, as well as my to-do list remastered template that gives you basically how to create bomb-ass to-do lists monthly, weekly, and daily, especially for my people that are super scatterbrained, consistently asking themselves, what the hell did I even do today? This masterclass is for you. As of today, there are only 4 spots left. There's a 20 spot cap because I'm giving away these exclusive templates. I'm only giving it away to 20 people. So if you want those exclusive bonuses, please come to the masterclass live, register below, and claim your spot. I am super excited for this masterclass and I'm pumped. It's going to be a good one. I love masterclasses. That's the 5-1 projector in me. I was considering starting today's episode by playing this song. I love the song Return. So if you think that should be the jingle for the Heart to Heart podcast, let me know, because I was just working out to that song and I was like, damn, I love this song so much. So all right, so today's episode is all about making time for yourself, right? Being able to create that time for yourself. And I'm going to start this off a little unpopular opinion, a little bit of sorry, not sorry, a little bit of it's on you, a little bit, it's on you, right? Okay. So if you're ready for that kind of energy, buckle up. Let's get into it. So as entrepreneurs, okay, I'm thinking back about now my story. How do I want to start this, right? Because when I became an entrepreneur, it was kind of something that I wasn't planning. But once I became an entrepreneur and stepped into the entrepreneur world and realized that I could create my own schedule, I could set my own hours, I decided what my day-to-day looked like. I was hooked, right? It was like, oh, this is all I've ever cared about was flexibility. That's why I waitress. That's why I was a personal trainer. You basically create your own schedule and you have lots of free time, quote unquote. I don't like the word free time, but we're going to use it in this context. I had a lot of open time. And I love open time because I like deciding what I want to do. One of my favorite things about being a waitress, besides, my addictive behaviors to stress, was like, okay, I didn't have to be to work till 4:00. And so I had the whole day to do whatever the hell I wanted. And then I would go to work, make $500, go home, do it again tomorrow. Like, what is better than that, right? Obviously, there's a lot of cons to being a waitress, but you catch my drift, okay? And so being an entrepreneur is similar, right? You work really, really hard and you also get to play really, really hard. But a lot of us struggle with making time for ourselves. And I'm not even just talking about taking vacations or going out to dinner or taking trips with your friends. I'm talking about like just day-to-day time for ourselves. And a lot of this comes from the fact that we feel, whether we feel, it could be a multitude of things, honestly, but there's like this guilt, right? Like big brother's watching you and knows that you're like not working this very second. There's also this like comparison of like, well, I see on Instagram that she's always working and she's crushing it. And like, I'm eating my lunch on my porch. Like I should be eating my lunch in front of my laptop right now, working on DMs or creating an email list or whatever your brain tells you. There's also this feeling of, if I'm not stressed and if I'm not overwhelmed, am I even working hard enough? And then there's this feeling of like, do I even deserve time for myself? And I think entrepreneurs, female entrepreneurs especially, but any entrepreneur, I think struggles with this balance, right? There's this meme, I've talked about it before and I hate it. Like I gave up my 9 to 5 to work 24/7, right? And as an entrepreneur, I do think that we do work 24/7, but I have a personal take on that, but that's for a different podcast episode. But what I will say is the reason that you don't have time for yourself or you struggle to have time with yourself all comes back to you. Okay. And the reasoning it comes back to you is a couple different reasons, right? It's whether you really struggle with boundaries and you struggle with saying no to things. It comes from that shame or guilt. There's some part of you that whether it's performance-based love, whether it's comparison, whether it's lack of self-worth, which kind of ties into comparison. But there's multiple layers to comparison, right? Comparison could be competition, but it could also put you down, right? There's like multiple layers there. But all of it circles back to the inner work that you have done, right? Because you can schedule, like on a schedule, 2 p.m. time for Emily. But then someone's like, hey, can you do this thing at 2? Yes. But that was an appointment you made for yourself, but you didn't stick to it. You didn't give it the gravity it deserved. Or your hard stop time on your schedule, let's say is 6 p.m. and now it's 7 o'clock and a client is trying to talk to you, but your hard time was supposed to be at 6. So now the time that was meant for you is now being given to somebody else. And this is not easy. Okay. I'm not saying that this is easy. And we're going to talk about this in the masterclass in more detail with like, more pieces, but I wanted to use this time today because we could talk about this for hours, I think. But understanding that your time for yourself is not just like relaxing and leisure. I mean, it could be, but it's also like how you get new ideas. It's how you create clarity and groundedness. It's also how you build connection with people in your community and your relationships. It's how your creativity spikes. It's how you get new ideas. There's just so much that goes into having time for yourself that it is a crucial part of being an entrepreneur. And so in my marketing, right, you might say, have more time for yourself. And you may hear that and see that me like, oh, that means that like, if I want to go roller skating on Thursdays, I can. And yeah, it could mean that. But it also means when you have more time with yourself as an entrepreneur, you are cultivating more wisdom. You are cultivating your business more, refining it, right? Because all of your ideas are coming out of you. If we're constantly go, 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 do, stressed out, overwhelmed, most of the time, and a lot of times I think that most of you don't feel fulfilled, and I could resonate because it was me as well, is because we're getting everything from external reasons. And so it's really challenging for us to come up with new ideas on our own or like feel confident in what we're actually offering or putting on our social media. So it goes much deeper than just like relaxing time for yourself. Now, I do want you to have relaxing time for yourself. I do want you to have hobbies. Like that's an important part of living a fulfilling life, right? You didn't become an entrepreneur so that you could never leave your desk ever again. At least the women that I work with. There are people out there they're like, I just want to make lots of money and I want to work really hard and blah, blah, blah. If that's you, awesome. But that's not the women that I work with. The women that I work with, they want to, yes, be successful entrepreneurs, but on their terms. They want to have fulfilling lives and adventurous lives and make a really big impact and have fun and make memories. And they want to work hard too, but they want to do it from a place of passion. They want to do it from a place of like, this is my purpose. But you cannot live your purpose if you are spread so thin you can't even think straight. If you are saying yes to every single thing and not honoring your boundaries. And you cannot do that if you are not managing your tasks every single day in a strategic manner. So circling back to like the root cause here, this is where it's going to be super important for you as an entrepreneur to start asking yourself the hard questions, to start doing the uncomfortable things. Yes, it is super uncomfortable to tell somebody no when you've been a people pleaser your whole life. It is really challenging to say, hey, I'm sorry, my 2 p.m. is booked. I can't do that. And maybe that 2 p.m. was literally just you going on a hike by yourself, but it's booked. I can't. I can do another day. It is knowing that you matter and that your time is literally the most valuable thing as an entrepreneur, more than what's in your bank account. Your time is everything, because it is the time is money. But you can look at that as time is money in the sense of like, I got to give all my time up to make the most money. Or you can look at it as, my time is so precious that every hour I use so intentionally because I've been focused on quality over quantity. And so boundaries are going to be super important. So I would encourage you to ask yourself now, where am I lacking boundaries? Where am I allowing my boundaries to be consistently like plowed through by other people's wants and needs? Then I would ask yourself, where is the guilt and shame coming from in my life? And this may require, you diving deeper into whether that's therapeutics, therapy, journaling. But I know for myself, the guilt and shame, or this like big brother feeling, like other people know I'm not working this very second. So God forbid I'm not quote unquote, capitalism productive for this 1 hour. My God. Sorry, small soapbox. But ask yourself, where does that come from? Where was I taught this? When did this start for me? When do I feel this the most, right? Maybe for this one, and even boundaries too, but definitely this one, I would encourage you to take a zoomed out lens and ask yourself, when do I feel this the most? Do I feel this the most when I'm not following through with the things I say I'm going to do? Do I feel this the most when maybe I'm having a low month in my business? Do I feel this the most when I maybe didn't follow through with a to-do list item that I said I was going to do, back to that like integrity part, because I think a lot of it comes from our inner selves. And also if you were born, if you're a millennial, right, we grew up with like a lot of people pleasing, a lot of like, be a good girl, do what you're supposed to do. And so I think that's a lot of where that big brother feeling comes from. Like, people know I'm not working this very second. It's almost like I feel like I'm getting an F. And that's where this liberation comes from, of knowing like, I get to make my own rules. That's why I became a bloody entrepreneur. If I wanted rules, I'll go back to a corporate world, or I'll go back to waitressing, or whatever it may be, right? And so giving yourself full permission to take complete ownership of yourself. And I can give a physical example of this, and that I still struggle with this myself sometimes. So today is Tuesday, and I have a couple Zoom calls today, nothing too crazy. I had to record this. I did some DMs for my masterclass. I had to post a reel. I have an energetic scheduling session tonight with my girl, Courtney. So I have a pretty good day. I got my workout in, and I was like, you know what? I'm feeling like I've been on my phone too long with the DMs and everything. I need a break. So I went to my living room, and I made myself some lunch, and then I put on Sex in the City. And I'm sitting there on my couch watching Sex in the City. And that feeling of big brother comes over me, of like, oh my God, I'm not working right this very second. And I have a masterclass coming up that I really need to fill up the spots. And I really need this group program to go well. Like, all these thoughts coming in, and I'm like, oh, people knew I wasn't working right now. They would think I was a failure. They wouldn't be surprised that my things aren't going well, because look at me watching Sex in the City in the middle of the day, eating my lunch. Does those thoughts sound crazy to you? The answer is yes, right? Because there's no reason for me to be thinking those things. But where does it come from? That's the question. Why did this come up? It comes up, one, because like, healing is a process, right? But it comes up because I have always been a person that craves love through performance. And so if I'm not doing, I struggle with my self-worth. But then, because of the time I have taken to heal this part of myself, the self-awareness kicks in, and my brain goes, okay, but listen up here. You just did like 25 DMs. You just did like 25. That's a lot of work. You also post on social media. You've also already have done 3 Zoom calls. Okay. Like, it's not that big of a deal, right? It's you're allowed to do this. No one cares if you're doing this, and you're allowed to. You can do whatever the hell you want. You're a grown up. You are responsible for your own actions. So be okay with it and move on, or beat yourself up with it and then ruin your whole day. And so I took Bo for a walk, came in here, worked out. Now I'm recording this, and that guilt is gone because I'm following through with my to-do list. I'm following through with the things I said I want to do. And if I can have 30 minutes of just like breather in between, I'm taking care of me so I can show up, so I can think clearly, so I can be creative, so I can be myself. So the most important thing I think I want you to get out of today's episode is when we think of, having more time for ourselves, what does that mean? And what are you making it mean? One, but also let's get to the root of why we struggle with making time for ourselves and take full ownership of the ways that we hold ourselves back from making time for ourselves. Because just like your fitness clients that you beg's not the right word, what's the word I want to use? You market to your ideal client. You want them to have food freedom. You want them to be able to live a sustainable, healthy lifestyle, but they can't ever make time for the gym. They struggle to make time for their nutrition. It's the same thing here. What's the root cause? It's not just strategy. It's not just a structure thing. Yes, that's part of it, but there's also a deeper root to this overall problem. And that is something we have to continuously dive into. Now, with human design, I can help with that for sure. Each person's going to have different things. And it's not something I can give a blanket statement on based on energy type. I can say the challenges of each energy type, but energetically and profile type wise, there's like more that goes into that. But you can use your human design to help you dig deeper into that. Really, though, spending time with yourself alone is going to help bring to light a lot of the taproot problems that we are all facing. So I want to help you make time for yourself because you became an entrepreneur for a reason. And it literally breaks my heart that most entrepreneurs are living life stressed out, overwhelmed, crying every single day, never feeling productive, never feeling fulfilled, never knowing if their impact is actually being made, because that is the worst feeling. It's the worst feeling to not know if you're following through with your purpose or if it's actually making any difference. And so I think this is one of the really important topics to navigate as we continue our journeys as entrepreneurs, because you should be able to make time for yourself. You are the most important part of your business. If you are not being optimized, you can't expect your business to succeed, especially in this day and age where people are expecting more, right? They want deeper, they want realness, they want authenticity. You can't do that if you don't know how to spend time with yourself. So like I said, I could talk about this forever, but I really do like to keep these episodes at a manageable listening rate because yeah, I don't think you want to listen to me for an hour. If you did, I'd be interested to hear why, honestly. But in the show notes is to join the masterclass. Please join if any of this hit home for you and you want to learn more. I'm super excited to see everybody who is coming, and thank you all for your support and for your continued, right, like drive to show up as the woman that you want to be. So I hope you guys have an amazing day, and I will talk to you soon.